Yeah.
Two turtle doves.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I love Hallmark and mystery Christmas movies.
I'm Brian. I like Hallmark Christmas mystery Christmas movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Hallmark mystery Christmas movies, and this is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. It's great to be here.
Sunday.
King and Country, get in here.
Get on in. You're here.
Get
Get
on
over here. Come on.
Can you imagine?
No?
They
That
join
would've
us
been-
every Sunday.
Man, every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
They got nowhere else to be.
No.
No.
Nothing to do.
It's great to be here today talking
bet it
about
is.
the Hallmark Mystery of the Week, the Thursday night release, because that's
right.
the thing that they have decided to do this year. So it's great to be here. Guys, how are you? Here's something for you. How is your weekend going thus far?
Oh, I
that's
see.
a great
A
one.
little switch them up.
Greenville, South Carolina, the city that we live in,
Yes,
the wonderful
visit
city
Greenville.
that we live in. They hosted Fall for Greenville this weekend.
Yes.
The Hurricane Helene, postponed it to
Yep.
this weekend. And I had a chance to go down, and it was a
Yes.
great time. They
Yes.
had to do their best to put it together pretty quickly.
It
but
cooled way off.
City of Greenville's undefeated. Yeah, Friday was 81 degrees. We've got a problem. It's called global warming. But the event was really, really
Can
fun.
I just say this too?
Yes.
I've lived here for over 10 years now,
Mm-hmm,
and Fall for Greenville used to be something that you would avoid at all costs because it was a mess down there. And I don't really know what they've done, whether it's the addition of more parking garages or whatever. It's a lot more manageable when you go down there.
I mean,
I
don't try to get on Main Street if you're driving.
No, you
course.
can't. It's blocked. But they had I was able to get in and get out pretty quickly, which is nice. I
I've come
parked at the
full
old
circle.
River Street garage in and
Oh
out.
yeah, in and out.
Boom.
I've come full circle, and they have EV charging
I know.
for free, which is
I know.
unbelievable. I've come full circle on Fall for Greenville. When I moved back to Greenville, grew up here, left, came back. I remember loving it, being like, "This is awesome. This is the best thing our city does." And then I lived downtown, and after about the fourth year I lived downtown, I was like, "I'm over all the traffic." And now, over the last 2 years, I'm back on board. It's awesome. It's amazing. You should go.
You've
And-
experienced it, Brian.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny. When I walk in,
And
I
you're
feel
a
like,
live music guy.
yeah, it's great. I walk in, I feel like, who do I owe? Who do I owe? Like,
That's right.
this is just for us, just to
Yes.
have and enjoy.
Yeah, it's
They
free.
just do this for us.
Yeah.
Concerts are free.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that. Love
Yeah,
that.
on Main Street, right there on Main Street.
Boom.
A Main Street
Who
big
knew?
enough for a tree lighting and a parade, but also small enough to just shut it down
Shut
for
it
free
down.
live music.
You love to see that.
You love to see
love
it.
to see that.
Only in Greenville.
Come on. It's going to be a lot of fun. 5 Gold Rings is the movie that we're talking about today. It is a mystery
Finally.
movie. There are some family heirlooms talked about, which is a card that you could
Tomatoes?
experience if you had Christmas movie magic, the card game. That
Sweeping the
I
nation.
got to be honest.
Yeah.
I am so happy that we're talking about it now that people have it in their hands because. Whenever you do something and you're like, this is amazing, I can't wait to talk about it. And then you kind of are like, am I crazy? Like, is this as fun as I think it is?
Yeah.
The response has been amazing from people talking about how much, not only is it fun for them to play, but they're getting their kids in on the action, kids that wouldn't normally watch these movies. I've seen people
That's
that
right.
are like, hey, my kids are now coming in the room because we have this game and they're watching the movies with me, which is amazing. So it's a wonderful addition to like family movie night, or if your kids are old enough and they are kind of at the point where they're like, I want to do my own thing. This maybe will bring them back into the room to watch these movies with you. So it's really, really fun. DeckTheHallmark.com/game. You can get it today.
And if
So
you
happy.
listen, if you enjoy it, leave a review on Amazon for us.
Yeah.
That would help a ton. That helps.
It would.
So other
It
people
would.
can see the product.
Yeah.
So
Now
go
we
for
could
it.
start reading them on the
Yeah.
show for fun.
Yeah, we could.
I love reading reviews. It's one of my
sure
favorite
do.
things to do.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about this movie today, I guess. One of the
Don't give it away, Brandon.
one of the 5 movies not
Drafted.
chosen
That's right.
in the draft. Is that right,
Does
Dan?
that say anything?
That is
about it?
correct. This movie was one of the 5 not chosen in the draft.
Was it on the
Deck
board?
Hallmark draft. It was.
It
on
was
the board.
on the board.
It was not taken by anyone. Let's see if somebody left it out there, or if we all we're right to be
Huge
cautious
mistake.
about
Oh.
this one.
That's right.
I won't let Bran give it away by going, it's time to talk about this movie, I guess.
Well, it's time to talk about this movie, I guess. 5 Gold Rings.
We're calling birds.
Originally premiered on the Hallmark Mystery Channel on November 7th, 2024, and it went a little something like this. We're on a beach, which may make you think it's not Christmas.
Oh, but it is.
But it is. How do we know that? Well, Grandma and her granddaughter are wearing Santa hats. So there you go. The grandma finds this St. Nicholas locket, and she explains to her that with the name on the back of it, she's going to try to work hard to find the owner of this locket. The girl, Audrey, shows Grandma a drawing that she made of Grandma for Christmas, and they go back to Grandma's shop and they put the locket in the secret spots in this desk, and they frame the picture. Cut to present day. Audrey is a hotshot big city artist. She's heading back home for the first holiday season since Grandma died. Her mom tells her that Grandma left her
Gunshot.
No, maybe They don't get
Merry
into it.
Christmas.
No, I think she died of something else.
Natural causes.
So her mom tells her that Grandma left her the old desk with all the
What the
secret
Hallmark.
the secret stuff. And in her will, Grandma requested that Audrey take a look at the secret
Grandma.
spots. Inside, there's a letter and
Rest in peace, Hawk.
and 5 gold rings. She asks her to work to return these 5 gold rings to their owners, just like they used to do every Christmas. And she insists that she asked Finn O'Sullivan to join her. She goes straight to Finn's office. He's a private eye. Finn was actually the first person that she and her grandma returned an item to, that necklace.
Wow.
Full circle.
I know. He was just a kid then, but now he's all grown up.
Sort of.
Yes, sir, he is.
Maybe legally.
They immediately catch up on important stuff, like if either of them are currently in a relationship. They are not. They get right to work on the first ring, and they're able to figure out it has something to do with a dancer that played Clara in the Nutcracker after a few dead ends, just like her grandma. And a whoa, hey guys, hold on.
Boy.
Hold on.
Whoa! It was across the line, Bran.
She's not real. What's
Some
she
of
gonna
us
do?
have lost Grandma.
Haunt me?
Dare you to
Dang it,
haunt
is she gonna haunt me?
I
She
hope
might
so.
haunt you.
For this
Bring it
season? I
on.
hope so.
Bring it on, Clara's grandma.
I don't want any of that.
Anyway,
Just Bran.
After a few dead ends and a snowman making break, they track down the owner. She's pumped. On to the next. One night, Audrey is looking at one of the rings, and that has like a box connected to it, kind of, and a ring comes out of that box. I'm sorry, a key comes out of that box
Ring
that's
comes out of
connected
that
to the
box.
ring.
What you got
It's
in
a
that
ring
box?
within a ring.
What in
It's
the world's
another
in
ring.
that bag?
After some poking around, it brings them to this desk. They one of the keys opens up one of the drawers, and inside is a transcript for a book. They find the author, well, the son of the author. It's a book that he didn't even know that his dad was writing. He is so happy to have it. I blinked, and they tracked down some more owners. And that's good, though, because that gives them time to make a ton of homemade ornaments. They end up going to a ball, and they slow dance, and they almost kiss. But then he drops a bombshell. Her grandma already paid him for his services. She thought that he was
She's
doing
a
this.
male escort.
She thought that he was doing this for the love of the game. Turns out he was getting paid. That really makes her mad at first. But then he explains that she paid him because his business was going under. What can you do?
Moving to Australia?
I was hanging out with you because I was paid to, and also I'm not successful.
Double whammy.
Hold on to this guy.
They
Yeah,
got
he's a
one
keeper.
They got one more ring left, and they find the owner. It is a Santa Claus that actually made the ring for Audrey on behalf of Grandma. Wanted to get that number up to 5.
Yeah.
For the sake of the song.
Yeah. Unless you had to get back birds, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. You're right.
These 4 birds need to find their owners.
Yeah. She gives him a picture
Well,
of.
there goes one.
She gives him a picture of
These 3
himself.
birds.
These 3 French hens.
Turtle does. She gives him a picture of himself that she drew, and that worked for him because they kiss, and that, my friends, was 5 gold rings. 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about 5 gold rings here on
Deck the Hallmark.
We're back. Hi, everybody. How are you? I hope
Doing
you're
great.
well. I hope you're well. It's your boy Bran here.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's your
Brand.
boy Bran. We're talking about 5 gold rings on the Hallmark Mystery Channel. Let's break it down with 4 segments. We're going to start with the hot take, is where we share exactly how we felt about this movie. We do not hold back, and I will start with you, I guess, Brian.
Oh, wow.
Man,
Lumping me in with
what an intro.
the 5 gold rings. So this, after the way we started the season, this felt sort of like when the rock band says, all right, we're going to slow it down for all the older folks in the back. And I'm just, so it's sort of a letdown for me with this one, unfortunately. Holland Road in a bright spot in this one. I enjoyed her in this role. I don't know what she saw in Finn, what Audrey saw in Finn. Maybe one of you guys saw something I didn't see. I didn't notice.
He's a super
talking about the-
successful private eye.
You talking about the funk?
Yeah,
you're
the
talking about
funk.
the
I mean, the
funk.
funk's different than the Finn. I can see the funk. So I don't know. I didn't see the chemistry. Didn't work for me. I was not super invested in them finding these owners. I didn't know anything about these people. They were like, maybe if we started with the people losing all the stuff and we had an idea of like what they were missing and who they were, maybe it would stood a chance. But just not a very good one for me this year, unfortunately.
Boy, with that kind of take from Brian, one can only imagine what's to come in this episode.
I guess.
So you know how sometimes you you can kind of anticipate something that like is going to scare you.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, this could be scary, you know? And then you get to that thing and you open your eyes and one of 2 things happens. It's either like, oh, it's not as scary as I thought, or this is significantly more scary
That's
than
right.
I thought.
Significantly scarier.
Scarier. This one's the latter for me. I was nervous going into it, scared one might say, because of the overall idea of this movie, the wild goose chase about
Wild Goose Case is a great murder mystery.
It
is.
is. The wild goose chase regarding these 5 gold rings. And it took so long to find the first owner
Yeah.
that when it was done, I was like, this movie's flew by. And then I remember there was
There's
4 other
more,
rings.
yeah.
And that was when I lost a little
See.
bit of hope. This one isn't for me. It's not for me, and I'm sorry. It's not my jam. It's my least favorite of the season so far. But I liked the funk. I like the funk.
Gotta
I'd
have
like
that
to
funk.
see more of the funk. And we'll see what happens. But 5 gold rings, not my jam. And I think people that know me that have been listening to this show for a long time could have maybe seen that coming from a mile
Yeah.
away.
But
And-
every
and
now and then a movie like this will surprise
it'll
us.
Yeah.
sneak up on you.
It's like it looks
Yeah.
so bad on paper,
Yeah.
but then we watch it and we're like, big surprise of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
when
people
that
people
happens.
look at the movie announcement and they look for the movie with the antiques and they go, well, there's the one for Brandon.
There's the one
he's
for
not gonna
Brandon.
like.
Little Christmas tree.
Yeah. Sorry.
Christmas
Sorry, everybody.
ring.
Love you. Mean it. Dan?
So what happened here was a bunch of very competent people in the film industry, like competent actors, directors, cinematographers, everyone that knows how to make a movie. They all got together and made a bad movie. I don't know how else to describe it. This movie is not like, Austrian Holiday where the 2 actors are good and literally everything else about it's like it's like the sets don't make sense, the script doesn't make sense. This is the reverse of that. Everyone here is capable. Everyone here has made a movie before. Behind the camera, in front of the camera, it's just not good. It's not interesting. It's so boring. There was no one for me to root for. The relationship between Holland Roden and her deceased grandmother is supposed to be, I think, stronger than it was. For me watching this movie, the Funk and Holland Roden are fine, I guess. But Bran is right. When they find the owner of the first ring, I was exhausted. I was like, this is the longest Hallmark movie of all time. It's not good. I don't mind these more solemn movies if you make a good movie. They make a good movie. The stakes aren't high. There's nothing. They basically are like, we got to get this done by Christmas Day. Why? Because that's what Grandma would have wanted. There's no stakes to this at all. And the chemistry, in my opinion, isn't really there between the two leads. And you don't care. It's not like when Nikki DeLoach, is in one of her dozen movies where her grandma or aunt leaves her something and says, please do this in my will. It doesn't have that. It doesn't, and I don't know who to blame for that, but it doesn't have that. This movie, it just kind of sits there. It is competently mounted and it's bad. And one of the worst of the year. I mean, I have it higher than Austrian Holiday, but that's because that movie isn't made well and this one is. But Austrian Holiday, probably a more entertaining watch.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'd say that.
So there's that.
It's time for all the feels. We're talking about what this movie gives feels. Brian?
Yeah, sure. So they kept playing this music that it sounded.
Who knew?
Yep, I wish.
Who knew it was you this Christmas? Who knew? Who knew it was you? We love
Oh, we do love it. They kept playing some music that sounded like the theme to Only Murders in the Building, and I kept.
You're
thinking,
right.
Yeah.
The piano
Yes.
would start.
Yes.
And I
Every
was
time.
trying to figure out where I'd heard it from. It's that.
And every time, it's my feels. I don't know what it says. I'm saying. It reminded me of Only Murders.
I don't know what it says.
I'm glad they had it in there. It was a bright spot for me.
Great.
Love that part.
During this movie, Dan and I were talking about how little we know about the Nutcracker, but
Yeah.
we did know the song and we sang it together.
Ba-da-ba-da-boom.
Do-do-do.
Ba-da-ba-da-boom. Ba-da-ba-da-boom. Ba-bum.
And that was fun for me. It was a good friend moment.
It was a
is
good friend. We had a good
So
friend.
I had a feel there. Dan?
Someone in this movie, someone who's older, an older dude, delivers the line, "Faith sees best in the dark." And I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts they did not come up with that line. The scriptwriter did. I'm sure it's been said before, but I love that line. I love the line. Like sometimes we
Look at you.
mistake faith for blind faith, where we just believe in something even though we have no reason to. That's not true. But when things seem the worst, that is when we fight the most and we have the most hope and we go as hard as we can go because we have something to lean back on. So Faith Sees Best in the Dark was my favorite 3 seconds of this movie.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get to the Wait What and the What the Hallmark here on
Deck the Hallmark.
I hate that. I hate it
boy.
so much. Philo doesn't want any part of that.
We get sued
Hi,
for that.
thanks for reminding me that we are on Philo today. It's great to be seen.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have done that.
No, it's great to be seen on Philo, and you can watch us. You can watch this movie. You can watch
Here it comes. Whoa! Gunshot.
me sneeze. Philo.tv/DTH to watch all of that and all the movies, of course. Hallmark, Lifetime, Up. They're all at it. So come join us over on Philo. Philo.tv/DTH. Let's get to the Wait What. It's where we talk about what in this movie. Just go Wait What. Right?
Yeah, I'll take it from here, Brent. If I look outside and I see just two random people making snowmen with my kids,
Dude,
I think
we've got to. This is the biggest. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
immediately, hey boys, why don't you come on inside? Why don't you go home and get? What are you doing?
Yeah, you cannot possibly tell me they. All right, so it's not like they live next door. They show up at a stranger's house.
Mm-hmm.
The stranger's house isn't home. They walk over to a little girl.
Yeah.
Building a snowman by herself.
Yep.
They've never met her, and they go, "Can we build a snowman with you?
Walk right up to her.
We're grown adults."
Yep.
No.
So weird.
No, not
So
now.
weird.
Not in the 1970s.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No, the kid could say, "Hey, you want to help?" Like the kid could prompt.
This is the beginning of a Dateline episode.
yes,
you
terrible.
can't. I already have to get my kids want to.
was December.
That's right. My kids already want to talk to everybody they meet, and I have to tell them not to do that.
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was real creepy.
Hey, you guys seen Maria? Yeah, she's out in the front yard with two adult strangers making a snowman.
No.
I just can't believe it.
Yesterday,
So
my
weird.
kids were at the park and they heckled a guy because he kind of looked like Tobey Maguire, and I just kind of let it happen. I thought it was pretty funny.
Of course you did.
They just kept going, running over, like kind of getting close to me, like, "Hey, Tobey Maguire!" And they'd run off. I loved it.
Great.
I loved it.
He has it coming.
He did. He knew what he did.
So that was so weird.
That was the biggest one of the movie.
Audrey was on the phone with Finn at one point, and she's describing the key and the inscription, and all I could think of was me doing that or Brand doing that to you, and you'd be like, Brand, take a picture. Take a picture and send it to me. Text me a picture of the key and the inscription. Show it to me. She just kept going and going, and she's like, and then let me pull it apart. Well, it says, like, you take a picture. Holy cow.
You make me
longer.
sound pretty ruthless, and it's correct.
Yeah. Oh, it was so
100% what I'd have been doing.
It went on so long.
Yeah.
Frank wrote a novel, or his dad, whoever the guy, Frank Sr., wrote a novel and didn't tell anyone. Impossible.
There's no way.
For a writer
ever
to
met- no,
write
of course you haven't.
something or have an idea about writing something and not talk about it nonstop.
Or just be in the middle of writing something. There's no way.
Impossible.
No.
That's a good one.
Don't make me
a-
sing.
Yeah.
Did you just say that's a good one to yourself, to your own?
Yeah. I
Wait,
believe
what?
I
Oh, did I? I
you
said.
did.
That's
I
a good
meant
one.
in the movie. That's funny.
That's
like,
a good
That's
one.
a good joke
that's a
right
good
there.
joke.
That's a
movie.
good way. What? For me that I brought.
Yeah, and then the let me see.
All
Yeah, that was it.
right.
That was
Okay.
it. That was all my good ones.
So, I don't know. This may be just be a me thing, but she at the very beginning they come back and she's like, "We know where you know where to put this," and she goes, "Secret compartment." So she goes over and she opens up a drawer and there is a secret compartment. You go in, you press this button. This little thing pops out, has a key. That key leads to a drawer.
Yes.
That is the most obvious
Yeah,
drawer.
not a secret
So,
drawer.
like, I understand what they're saying, but I think this is more of a wait what to the desk creator.
Mr. Desk Creator.
Mr. Desk Man,
Yeah.
Hello. Can you tell
got
like,
It's me down at the Desk Emporium.
Yes.
And I built that one special just for this movie.
but why do all the secret stuff to find a drawer that is obvious to everyone?
How do you like that
Have
question,
you
Mr.
seen
Desk
the
Man?
door? Have you seen the drawer?
Which one?
The big one.
Everyone
Okay.
does.
Where would you think a secret compartment would be?
Well, I think even
Would you
just
think it would be tiny drawer?
I
Wouldn't big drawer be the least obvious, most obvious secret place for you to not think of?
okay, yeah, I guess so. But couldn't you put
Wouldn't
like a
you
little?
not want to never buy a non-secret compartment desk?
Hot ice.
Somehow he's double negative, guy.
Yeah, man. He's good at
I
it.
think
too.
I
I've
just
never
would've
not
liked-
built a desk that didn't not have a secret compartment in the smallest, not the biggest drawer.
Right. I think I
You
just
get it.
would have liked some sort of like
I don't.
thing that goes
Come on
over.
down to the desk emporium, or don't
I don't know.
come down to
Don't
the
not
desk.
It was
Come
just,
down.
I think I was just disappointed because it was like, oh, there's a little secret. Oh, that's
It
a little
was-
secret pop out. Oh, that's the biggest.
Yeah.
That's the biggest, most obvious one.
They did not create a secret compartment there. They created a very elaborate plan on how to open the big drawer.
Yeah, it's like it's a rune.
Yeah.
A rune. What is it? A rune glyph burn? What is it?
A root and glyph burn.
You know,
I
where
don't
one
know.
thing goes to the X and it's like a funny.
That has to be real
know-
because for you to just make that up.
You know,
Root and glyph.
you know it's a rune sorry, you go ahead on the camera. You go. I'm sorry. You go ahead on the microphone. You say it out loud.
Say it.
Rube Goldberg. Yeah, Rube Goldberg.
You said it harder than it is.
Yeah, it's like a Rube Goldberg machine.
It's a root and glyph burn.
You know, Rube
It's a root and glyph burn, guys. Come on, you get it. One of them root and glyph burns.
It's not, all I'm saying is it's not a secret compartment. There are secret compartments there, but you're not putting it in the secret compartment. You just Rube Goldberg it.
Yeah, you did. Classic.
There is a song. You guys know the song, 12 Days of Christmas.
knew? Oh, no,
Who
this is a song.
knew?
Who
man.
knew? You know the song. The song 12
Yes.
Days of Christmas,
Yes.
and you know this. You know,
The
five,
Rube Glyph- by
five
Rube Glyph
golden ring. For some reason, they use like this like poppy version, and the singer just kind of goes 5 frost stars
That is,
And it's like,
yes.
what?
The first time
Five
you hear
Frostas?
it, literally the singer does not say 5 gold
Is
rings.
that a version of it for the Wendy's commercial?
Five
Five
Frosties.
Frosties.
They were hoping to get Wendy's as a sponsor for this one. and
Five
last
Frosties.
minute.
Dude, if this movie was about getting 5 Frosties to people that needed them before they melted, I'm all in on that
That's
movie.
a good idea.
Write that down.
Frosties, 5 Frost. We already get the song.
5 Frosties.
So the reason why Dan and I
Five
were
Frost.
talking about the Nutcracker is because it's what the very first one that takes the longest is revolving around the Nutcracker. And we were talking about how little we know about the Nutcracker, but how in comparison, what we know is apparently everything compared to what our guy Finn knows. Finn knows literally nothing about the Nutcracker. He's the mouse thing.
Yeah.
He knows nothing. Mouse King?
He hears about Mouse King and he's like, Mouse King?
To be fair, he's 11 years old.
Yeah, well, how is he supposed to
He's
know?
just
Yeah.
a kid. He's just a kid.
Just a little baby.
Baby. He's a baby.
You know, I'm gonna say it, even though we Googled it, and I guess it is right, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
You
it
can't
took,
use this
It
one.
took me by surprise when he comes in to ask somebody something. He says, "Hi, my name's Finn. I'm a private eye," and then he holds up his ID.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Did he just flash a badge? Do private investigators have a badge?" Apparently,
You're not allowed to have
You're not
badges.
allowed to have badges, but you do have to identify yourself,
Correct.
which he does. Do you have to show your ID? Can you just say, "Hi, I'm Finn, and I'm a
Identity,
private
yeah.
eye"? Isn't that?
I'm pretty
isn't-
sure you could just say it.
Okay, well, he flashes it. He flashes
he
that
flashes
ID.
it.
You don't want to see this. And then last, this one just kind of made me giggle. They do find this book, the secret book and stuff, and they
Sure.
bring it to the guy's kid.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Did you guys read this?" And so I kind of what I would have probably, if I did read it, I would have probably been like, "Oh, I mean, who can say?"
Just flip through.
Because it's not our place. It's not our place
No.
to
Right.
read it. Finn was so happy to say that he's read some of it, and I expected that guy to kind of be like, "You read it?"
Yeah, he was just thrilled. He was
He
thrilled
was-
his
Finn-
pop's work was getting out there.
But yeah, he was happy. He was happy that Finn read it, and so I just my wait. What is Finn being so happy to admit that he read something that doesn't belong to
Private,
him?
yeah. Well, he's a private
He's a
eye,
private
so
eye.
he's into the
He's
private
got the
stuff.
He's into the private stuff. That's exactly right, Dano.
All right. Okay.
He's into the private stuff.
Check his ID.
Early on in this movie, there's an establishing scene of the city that they're in. And in the scene, I paused it for Brand and we talked about it for over a minute. There are 2 street signs that are both running horizontally right next to each other. And one of them says Wheeler Drive and the other one says Scott Road.
Oh,
and
boy.
they're right next to each other on the same side of the street,
Yeah.
running horizontal. Neither one is tilted at all. They're both like this. And one says Wheeler Drive and one says Scott Road.
So one's really big.
One is bigger than the
one
other
is really big, one
but
is
they're
smaller.
next to each other, and
Here was my working theory.
I love it.
Okay.
This is great.
So
Listen
my
to
working
this.
theory is, you know how sometimes you are driving down the road and you're like, what road am I currently on?
Yep.
And you got to wait until you pass by a sign and you got to turn your neck. That's not safe.
Right.
So what if
this
we
city-
what if we do big boy to let you know what road you're crossing over, small one to let you know what road you're on.
And if you're not from that city, then you're lost.
You are confused
all the time.
At first.
But if we all just adopt this system, think about how many lives we might save. How many accidents happen
From
every
looking-
year
Yep.
from
Well,
turning
it's
your
going to
head
spike
to see?
to begin with if you do that, because people are going to think they're on
And
the
I-
wrong street and turn.
But just because things get messy doesn't mean it's not for
The
the
night is always
not for
darkest
good.
before the
That's
dawn.
right. Have
Amen.
faith in the dark.
That's
That's right.
exactly right. We gotta make changes, and I think this is an interesting
Yeah.
one. That's my theory.
It's a great
but
theory, Brand.
That's all
it
I
still
got.
doesn't make any sense. I do want to point out, and we've kind of danced around it, but they are, by their own admission, up against the clock in this movie. But that
They're up
doesn't mean
against
they
it.
don't have time for every gosh darn Christmas tradition and craft available to them. For a team that is up against the clock being by Christmas Day, they build gingerbread houses. They decorate Christmas trees. They do Christmas crafts. And they go see Santa, although that one is part of the rings.
Right.
They do all of these things that if you took them out of the movie would be under an hour, and they would have already found the owner of all the rings. And it doesn't make any sense. these things are not being done in service of the plot, save for the Santa one. It just they're not. They're just being done to do them. Like, let's decorate the tree. Let's build a gingerbread house. Let's blah blah blah. And it's like you don't need this to find these people.
Right.
That's a pretty big one. When he
Have we thought about doing two signs?
Two
Let's do
signs.
two
It's a double
signs.
sign?
Double
Yeah.
it's a
sign.
double sign.
Yeah.
When
gotta
he
know where you
comes
are to let you know
clean-
where you're going.
When he comes clean and says, I was paid to be here the whole time. She's like, you lied to me. And his response, and this is one for the books, is, I was just pretending. That's different.
In his defense,
What?
to your point, he is 11, and
That's true.
I was just,
How would he know?
that is a very good excuse for my 8-year-olds.
Yeah.
I was just pretending. It's different.
yeah, and then you would sit them down and you would explain that it's not.
It
like
isn't.
You have to. It's like, this is always a tricky thing as a parent, but your kids will be, when they finally find out you can do bits, it's like
Yes.
it's hard for them to know when is it
Yeah.
time to give up the bit.
That's right.
And
That's true.
And you need to let them know, hey, I'm being serious now.
That's right.
Are you being serious? Or are you doing a thing?
That's right.
And eventually, if they don't come clean, they can't just be like, I was pretending.
Yeah.
It's not lying.
Yeah.
Eventually,
That's right.
at a certain point, you understand
That's
what
right.
you're doing.
Correct.
And it is a lie.
Yeah.
I think he's older than 8. So
My kids are in the fun fact stage
Yeah.
where they're like, did you know sharks have 3 heads? And I'm like, buddy, is that true? Or is that something that you're like believing in your head or pretending about? And they're like, it's really in my head. You know what I mean? That's where we are right now, is that version of it where it's like, yeah, no, I saw an octopus as big as a building or whatever,
Yeah.
It's crazy. The last one I have is they go to see this Santa who's the last ring, which really wasn't a part of it. But they added it because you need 5 rings.
Yep.
That's a part of this movie, just so you know. What if we
Can we
only
talk about that?
We only got 4 rings. There's 5 gold rings. What do we do? What if we do a fake one? What if we have an easy boy they wait to the end on and just show up and go, this was just to make it 5. You can't have a dozen donuts without 12, What are you doing? Guys, make one. Just make another plot up. And let's not spend so much time on the godforsaken nutcracker.
Well, that would be like having a box of donuts with 11 and then someone just puts a stone in there and
That's
calls
right.
it
Yes,
a donut.
yes, exactly.
It's not.
Yeah.
I had it made just for the song.
Oh my God.
Love that. I love that by
The
Grandma.
Santa at the end of this movie, they get in line to see Santa. This Santa couldn't be moving faster if he tried. Oh, Merry Christmas. Kid, he's like, he is doing volume level Santa work. Like, he is just, kids aren't giving their wishes.
That's what Brian would be if he
It
was
is-
a Santa.
That's right.
Oh, man.
He's like,
Get him
we
in, get
gotta-
him out. We got to be.
Yeah. We got, it's
Yeah.
like Charles Dickens getting paid by the word over there. Like, he is just like, there's no back and forth with the kid. It's just like quick picture, move on as quick as you
It would be
possibly
like a
can.
conveyor belt.
That's
if
all I
were
got.
Santa.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
That's
That
good.
was it, I think.
Did you think that was a good one, Dan?
I thought, yeah,
Fast
good,
Santa?
that's a good one.
That's
Yeah,
good.
That's a good one.
Let's get to what the Hallmark story we could have been. Maybe have it get some clarity. Any questions that we still have? What are we still wondering about?
Mm-hmm.
Let's find out. Brian?
I've had a number pop into my head as I'm sitting here, like a number of what the
6.
hallmarks. No,
A number of
close.
them.
A
Like
number
28.
of them. That was close. My
32.
original was that who does all jewelry have a mark? Like is that real? So are we sure that
It can't be.
it
No,
can't?
I
right?
think very expensive jewelry or jewelry that is a one of one has a mark.
yeah. And some of them have names and like all. It's just
Yes.
so. Did she?
It's really nice that all
So
of
convenient.
them were so like I care about my wedding ring.
Yeah,
right.
the
But
inside's
you
engraved.
inscribe
Isaac?
no,
anything?
it's
The-
not.
oh.
Just,
Right.
just tungsten. So it's like this wouldn't
Where do
help.
you
You went
start?
with tungsten.
Yeah, tungsten card.
That's how he knows it's
carbide
his.
there. $11, I think, on Amazon.
Wow.
But it
I
means
have the inside. I mean, I just have a tattoo now, but I have the inside of my wedding ring engraved.
I never did. I've never
Yeah.
done that.
no.
Yeah,
So-
but I like it. I really like this ring. I'd be bummed if it, but it's not very expensive. So I was just
Sure.
gonna,
Exactly.
worst
You know,
case,
yeah.
I can get out. So at a certain point, I imagine.
Yeah, I guess
You do
it's a nice
something.
touch if you're giving a gift. I guess to have it engraved
I
or
think I
inscribed.
will
but
say I think rings would be the most likely to have something on them because I know aside from and that is a legit trend. When my wife and I got married, I was like, hey, I can just get a whatever
Yeah,
ring,
yeah.
and my wife was like, no, like this is like a big. We both should have rings that are nice and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. But I do think rings all have some sort of, especially wedding rings or rings that are given as a gift of significance. I think they all do have some sort of inscription or some sort of mark on them. That would be my guess anyway. If they're gold,
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
I guess I would hope so. And so that was just. It just seems so convenient. And I forget I had some other good ones.
had a
but
number.
it does-
You had a
yeah, I
number.
had a number.
19.
and that might have been it.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
good.
Glad we got that.
Okay. So the big argument here is that grandma paid him, right? Do you think grandma paid him what the service would actually cost, or did she give him
She was looking for a
a
reason to-
lump
yeah.
sum
Yeah.
of money? Because one case isn't going to save his business. So how much money do you think she gave him? Was he like, hey, this is how much it's going to cost? And then she goes, okay, no problem.
Double
Gives
it.
him an envelope and it's just full of money.
Yeah.
Or like, that's the only thing that makes sense, right? Because
Yeah.
one case, 5 rings, 2 weeks, that's not going to save his business.
No.
But clearly his business was still happening.
This is
He
like
still
an
has it.
insurance policy situation
be,
where
yeah.
you're like, hey, I'm going to write you this big check now, and you may not need to do this for years and years. But
Basically just wrote him into her will,
Yes,
basically.
yes,
yeah,
exactly.
That would be my understanding, yeah.
same.
But so to be clear, he's still not being honest.
Well, it's different.
He-
It's different. It's different.
Okay, it's different. He's playing pretend. Dan?
Yeah. There's a scene where
playing dress up.
there's a last name that they find to be very unusual, and I think the name's like Lauderman or Louderman or something like that.
Lauderman?
And they say the name.
about Lauderman?
It's Lauderman.
Lauderman? Talking about Lauderman.
It's a borderline December 7th situation, if not like. They may say it a dozen times.
boy.
I need to go back and look, but
I don't think it
that has to be some sort of off book situation. I don't think Lauderman.
Lauderman. Oh, Lauderman.
Lauderman. I don't even think that's the right name, but Lauderman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And as soon as I heard Lauderman's a crazy name. Lauderman.
why
right?
we're here.
That's why we're here. December 7th. That's why I'd
have a
love to
tree
know
yet?
if that was in the script or if that was improvised by the funk.
Sure. So, it seems funky.
Seems funky.
Your grandma paid me $1 million for this case. But
And she made up a 5th ring. It's really 4
that's
gold
just
rings.
what I cost, though.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, that's
Standard
my
rate.
number.
It wasn't because she felt bad.
I wasn't
for me.
lying. I was pretending.
I was pretending.
I'm a grown man.
Yeah, that's right. We did, everybody. Congratulations. We're going to be back tomorrow. The Netflix crew is going to be here for the first new Netflix
Yeah,
movie of the year.
Back in the saddle.
Little Pentatonics action. Meet me next Christmas.
That's right.
We're excited for that. And then Ronnie will be back on Tuesday for
Can't wait.
another handful of Hallmark movies. Join us, will you? Come on. We'll be back then. Until then, maybe we're the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.